threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
556.
Yeah.
556.
Cameron, welcome to the party, friend.
Yeah, this is a party.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's good.
How are things?
It's good.
It's cold outside.
It is.
Boy, it's
Baby,
cold.
it's cold outside.
We ought to do a holiday duet. I'll be the girl if you need me to.
It's good.
Yeah, we're excited. We have a good episode for you today. Some of you might be going, why are we talking about this?
True. Very true.
But
Guaranteed.
that's okay. Yeah.
That's a confusing subject.
It's
kinda,
super confusing.
But it's super interesting.
We're talking about sex today.
about
Wait.
women.
No, that's not right. What are we talking about?
We're talking about cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody thinks crypto is in crypto piracy, crypto
piracy. Yeah.
crypto criminology.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But no, this is and can be useful for us preppers for the future.
Yeah, we're talking about the pros.
We need to learn about it.
The pros, the cons. Why are we even talking about
What
it?
is it?
What
can
is
you
it?
do with it?
Yeah.
Can you do anything with it?
I didn't know a whole lot. I knew little bits.
I didn't either. I
Now
was
I know
interested, but
little
not
bits
enough
more.
to dig,
Mhm.
and I think we digged pretty good.
We've done some digging. Yep. But first, guys, I want to talk about BattleBox. They don't yet accept Bitcoin, but maybe one day. We don't know.
I hope some Bitcoin comes in next.
Yeah, that'd be great.
subscription box.
Survival Bitcoin wallet. Most subscription boxes are full of samples and junk you'll never use, but not BattleBox. It's the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. You know what? The Fox Edge Done Deal Fixed Blade. It looks
It's a
wonderful.
done deal.
It's a done deal. Outdoor Life Emergency Survival Manual. Books are great. I like them. I like to read them. All this badassness starts at about $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes, and they won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Do you like free knives, Cam?
I love
I do.
free knives.
Free knives are my favorite. That is trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife when you use our code at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
That was an exciting little casual prep.
Just trying to, it's the holiday season.
We're
trying
all
to change
sick
things
and
up.
tired of this.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and take this?
Yeah, this is timely. 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is exactly what we need right now. I hope these boys succeed because everyone needs to be tuned into this information right now.
Right
Check
now.
their sponsors before you buy the stuff you were going to buy anyway.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Uh-huh.
We filter the crappy stuff.
There's been a lot of crappy
We
stuff
don't
come through.
accept just anybody.
Yeah, we don't do it. Thank you so much. That's from Primal Pood from Apple Podcasts. If you guys want to be part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, go to the Bigfoot film on Amazon Prime Video, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
Kim, I don't know if you saw this, but the Russians are at it again. Dude.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't see it, but I usually expect it.
Yeah. Nearly a week after the U.S. government announced that multiple federal agencies had been targeted by a sweeping cyber attack, the full scope and consequences of the suspected Russian hack remain unknown. And some of this is from last week.
I did see this.
So there is some more information on this. But key federal agencies from the Department of Homeland Security to the agency that oversees America's nuclear weapons arsenal were reportedly targeted, as were powerful tech and security companies, including Microsoft. Have you heard of it? It's a big company, Microsoft. Yeah. Investigators are still trying to determine what information the hackers may have stolen and what they could do with it. So basically,
they know what information was stolen. They just don't know how to release it.
They don't know how to tell us, yeah. Orion is a network management product from a company named SolarWinds. with over 300,000 customers worldwide. Sometime before March, hackers working for the Russian SVR, that's basically the new KGB, hacked into SolarWinds and slipped a back door into an Orion software update. They don't know how, but last year the company's update server was protected by the password SolarWinds123. So there you go.
They didn't try too hard.
Yeah, something that speaks to a lack of security culture. Users who downloaded and installed the corrupted update between March and June unwittingly gave SVR hackers access to their networks.
Wow.
And so apparently this had a bunch of United States government agencies involved. So, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so anyways.
U.S. just lost all its intimate photos.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Great.
My boudoir photos were in there. Trump's boudoir photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I got for Mad World.
This isn't terribly new. We've heard about these different groups, but white supremacists plotted attacks on U.S. power plants, FBI alleges.
What?
So,
Whoa.
white supremacists plotted attack on power stations in southeastern U.S., and an Ohio teenager who allegedly shared the plan said he wanted the group to be operational on a fast-track timeline if Donald Trump were to lose his re-election bid. The FBI alleges in an affidavit that was mistakenly unsealed. The teen was in a text group with more than a dozen people in the fall of 19 when he introduced the idea of saving money to buy a ranch where he could participate in militant training.
Oh.
Isn't
I
that
gotta
awesome?
save up to buy me a militant
Yeah.
ranch.
The teenager wanted the group to be operational by 2024. The timeline for being operational would accelerate if the president lost in 2020.
Oh.
These are all text, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely want to be operational for violence, but also activism. The Ohio teen,
love it's a
who was
teenager.
17 at the time, also shared plans with a smaller group about the plot, like TikTok probably,
Yeah.
created a power outage by shooting rifle rounds into the power stations in the southeastern U.S. The thing that's kind of funny to me is attacking like power plants and stuff is more right-wing. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's weird, huh?
power generation and
Yeah.
that's more of you're
don't get it.
attacking kind of the thing that
Yeah.
we try to protect. Anyway,
Yeah.
so people have lost their minds.
Yes.
And this isn't the end of them.
Yeah.
So-
on all sides of the coin,
Yeah.
people have lost their minds. And speaking of coins,
Oh yeah, let's talk about
let's talk about Bitcoins and things like that.
Bitcoins.
So before we get started on this, let me tell you something first. This is not financial advice. We aren't financial advisors, nor are we experts. We're big dum-dums with a podcast who are talking about it because we looked stuff up on the internet. That's where we're at.
I totally concur.
Okay, so I want you guys to understand that before we get going. And you're like, well, I just put half my 401k into crypto. I'm like, well, your fault, dummy.
Yeah,
Okay?
seriously.
But we wanted to talk about cryptocurrency because we think it's actually
But if you make millions, you can get back to us on that.
yeah, we'll take a percentage. But we wanted to talk about crypto because I think it is relevant for preppers. As much as some preppers are very vehemently against it, I can understand that. I can because I can totally understand it. But us being very casual preppers and being very open-minded to new things coming, I think it's a good thing to look at, right? So let's just kind of start at the beginning. What is cryptocurrency? What is the thing that we're actually talking about? And that's where it kind of gets hard sometimes. But basically, a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that is secured by cryptography, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. So that's where that's one of the big downfalls, and Cam's going to talk about that later. Is it's digital. It's 100% virtual. There's not an actual coin that you can go get somewhere, right?
You don't want to have that. You want to have that in your hand. There's comfort in it.
For
but
sure.
it's not there.
Makes total sense, right? Many cryptocurrencies are decentralized networks based on blockchain technology. And I don't want to get into that yet because, again,
that's probably the deepest aspect of the whole thing, but it's the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah, I think so, too. So we're going to talk more about that later on, so I'm not going to get into that too much. I'm just going to give you a big, broad overview right now. A defining feature of cryptocurrencies is that they are generally not issued by any central authority, rendering them theoretically immune to government interference or manipulation. This is another big aspect of what they are, and this is one of the reasons I think they're getting really popular. Cryptocurrencies are systems that allow for the secure payments online, which are denominated in terms of virtual tokens, which are represented by ledger entries internal to the system. That goes back to the blockchain again. Crypto refers to the various encryption algorithms and cryptographic techniques that safeguard these entries, such as elliptical curve encryption, public-private key pairs, and hashing functions. We don't need to get into those too much. Just know that that's why they call it cryptocurrencies, because they're very secure and there's a lot of cryptography around them, right? And so when anybody actually talks about cryptocurrency, the first thing you think about is Bitcoin, right? That is the very first blockchain-based cryptocurrency, and it still is the most popular cryptocurrency that there is. And it's the most valuable by far. And we've seen recently humongous, bigly spikes in Bitcoin. I don't know exactly what it was at this morning, but it's right around 22,000, right, Cam? Yes, right around 23,000. But we're going to talk about that because you can have very wild swings in cryptocurrency. Right now.
It's crazy. It bumped up to like 24.
Yeah, it goes up, down.
And in March of this year, it was like $5,000.
Yeah, dude.
$1,000.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's lots of crazy stuff. So it's a very volatile investment. But today there are thousands of alternate cryptocurrencies with various functions and specifications. Other popular cryptos are Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and then there's a whole bunch of there's forks or clones of Bitcoin as well, right? And that's kind of gets hard to understand as well. I'm trying to think if there's any other popular ones. Is there any other that you know of, Cam, that are kind of popular?
Like the Litecoin and
I talked about
Ethereum,
Litecoin. Yeah,
no, I think that's all the main.
Okay.
Bitcoin's kind of broken off into like Bitcoin Cash and stuff.
There's a bunch of different ones. So, just a quick
Those
overview.
are the ones you'll see at the top that Kobe mentions.
Bitcoin was launched in 2009, and it's kind of crazy. The individual or the group that launched it, that made it, was Satoshi Nakamoto, and nobody knows who this is. It could be a single person. It could be a group of people.
Sounds like Shakespeare.
It does, yeah. But they own billions worth of Bitcoin at this point. Billions. They're very, very wealthy, and they haven't spent any of their Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin, there's so much to go into. I don't even know exactly where to go with this.
I know. It's really...
So right now, there's approximately like 18.5 million Bitcoins in existence, right? This number changes about every 10 minutes, and we're going to talk about the blockchain, but every time there's a new block mined, 6.25 Bitcoins go into circulation. We're going to talk about mining. I think, Cam, you have a bunch of stuff about mining, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Bitcoin, and the cool thing about a lot of cryptocurrencies, is that there's a maximum amount. When we talk about a regular fiat currency, and when we say fiat currency, we're talking about something like the dollar or the euro, right? That's kind of backed by a government, and it's just made for paying debts. There's nothing really backing it other than saying, hey, this is a way that you can go pay off debt. But I think Cam's playing like Tetris over there.
I'm trying to get this
Good gracious.
screen to go. Have you ever tried to make your split screen your iPad? It's like a freaking game.
I don't even try that.
I did it.
So the maximum in total amount of Bitcoins that can ever exist is 21 million Bitcoins. There can't ever be any more.
So strange.
Yeah, so that's all there can be.
But it's a good thing.
It's a really good thing, because that means insane inflation is just not possible with it, because there can only be so much. Right now with the US dollar, we just print, when we need more money, we just say, okay, here's a whole bunch of money.
And
right? I think I heard a statistic. If you had $100, let's see. Yeah, I think it was $100 like back in the early 1900s. Today it's worth like $6 or something like that. So if you just saved that $100 bill, it's worth like $6.
Nice.
So that's what we talk about with inflation, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about.
It's so weird, because when you really dig into this and realize, you're like, how does our money even stay?
Doesn't make sense, does it?
And how many people have their hands on our money?
Yes.
And can alter it? That's the scary thing.
And how many people are taking little bits and pieces of it throughout the whole process, right? That's the crazy thing, too. So there's a whole bunch of weird lingo and things about cryptocurrency that you need to know. And Cam's going to talk about some of that right now.
I guess.
You guess.
So there's a few cryptocurrency lingo, some words to kind of know. And Kobe mentioned the big one is blockchain.
Yes.
And blockchain is the technology that can allow individuals and companies to make instantaneous transactions on a network without a middleman. So it's I'll go into more detail on blockchain. It's hugely confusing. It's just tons of information, but the way it works is so secure and so smart. I don't know why we haven't set systems up this way.
Everything should be on blockchain.
It really should.
Like seriously, like everything should.
So, but and we'll kind of explain why.
Mm-hmm.
But so blockchain's one thing, and that's kind of the technology that Bitcoin and all these function on, and how transactions.
Well,
and
and
everything.
also blockchain is used for other.
Yeah, it can be used in
things
like
as well.
healthcare.
Yeah,
and
tons
like,
of different
it should be
things.
used in everything because
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I'll go into a little more.
Yeah,
detail.
sure.
HODL or HODL is a term that means hold, or later became the acronym hold on for dear life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of started out as a simple spelling mistake, but it's it kind of is just a part of cryptocurrency on I don't know how better way to break it down is basically when to cash in and when to buy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Altcoin is all those others outside of Bitcoin, like Kobe was explaining, like Ethereum and all those.
Mm-hmm.
So these have basically Bitcoin was the start, and then they've broken off into these altcoins. And so if you hear that, that just means everything other than Bitcoin. Circulating supply, like Kobe had mentioned, there's a limited amount, which helps avoid the inflation and all that. I didn't, honestly, digging through all these, I didn't see many of these pop up.
Of the lingo?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot really.
Because like Bear, Bear is a trader investor thing that a lot of people know. If you've ever played Pit, you'd know Bear is the,
Yeah.
that's when the market will go down in value. But really the key ones are like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Those are the main ones. And then blockchain to understand how it all works.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of these other lingo, honestly, I just felt like they're probably not even worth
Sure.
bringing
That's
into
fine.
it. Because looking over it for the last 2 to 3 weeks, none of this really came up to me because I'm like, I guess I don't trade and invest enough to really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are just a few of the words that you will hear pop up. So explaining how cryptocurrency is used and where to buy and trade. That's like the first point of like, how do I get into this? How do I obtain Bitcoin? And since it isn't something that you put in your hand like cash, how can I even use it? That's where it gets a little bit confusing. So, like I said before, blockchain is how it all functions. It's the essential technology that allows I'm trying to think. So I'm not very good at explaining confusing things. I'm going to do my best here.
Just go slow. You're good.
So it's the thing about blockchain is that it is kind of a tamper-proof ledger.
Mm-hmm.
So ledgers that keep track of all transactions. It's crazy how much cash that we don't see who picks and plugs in. And
Yeah.
so this ledger is some of the key points about blockchain is that it's peer-to-peer and it's accessible to anybody. Like you can see the transactions that have been done all the way back. That's why it's called a block. So these blocks have within them, they have hash, which is like the code or the encrypted code, like a fingerprint of your transaction. The nice thing is it's not tied to like your address, your name, your phone numbers. It's all an encrypted ID of you and whatever you're trading, selling. So that's in the block. And then you have inside that block, none of your information stored, but it also has the memory of the block it's previously came from. So like that cash, basically, say you have the purchase you bought, or the block you bought from somebody else, it has that information stored in that block with your information, but doesn't contain any of your address, phone number, all that stuff. It's just a marker, and they're all tied together, and they're all visible to everybody, so you can see the ledgers in time. That's why it's called the chain. So that was not the
So there's blocks of data. So like so much data can be in a block, and the data basically is these transactions.
Yeah.
Right. So there's these computers all over the world. They're making these blocks of data, and then they're linked together by a chain. So each of them are linked. Right. There's only so much.
And when they fill all the way up, they create a new block, and that new block isn't given to one person.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing too, is your money that you have stored in Bank of America. Bank of America has access to all of that, and they can see all of that, and they're the only ones that can see and access.
And they control it.
So if they send your money, and they control all of that. And we do this every day. So I think it was on that podcast you showed me of an easier way to explain how our money functions. So when you go to the grocery store and you use your credit card and your money, basically, if you want to get a drink of water, you're going to put that water in your mouth and put that water in somebody else's mouth who's going to then put the water in the mouth
The other
of
person.
the grocery store person. So it passes through all these hands. Bitcoin and blockchain avoids all that middleman. So basically, it's like if Kobe was in Brazil, I could just transfer money or give money directly to him without dealing with all those people that have their hands on it.
Yeah, nobody else has to see it.
And it sounds unsecure because everybody can see the ledger, but that's what basically makes the transaction, foolproof. You can't alter that because if you do alter any part of that block, it destroys the whole chain. So, and then that's where kind of mining comes in the whole calculation process that I'll talk about later. So anyway, blockchain's a secure transaction. It's how all this functions. And like Kobe had said, it doesn't apply just to the transactions of money. It can apply to healthcare. It can apply to just like different aspects of our life. I think one of the best places to like look at that I found was clear in a legit company is IBM because they have really invested and talked about blockchain. So some of their key points are the distributed ledger technology. All networks and participants have access to the distributed ledger and its immutable record of transactions. And that's what's different from cash and banks. Is that single bank is the only one that has that.
It's on their
you
servers.
You can see it, but they have it all.
It's on their servers. So with blockchain, it's on many, many servers around the entire world.
Yeah, everybody that has bought into some Bitcoin, they all can see all of this. So, and when was it when all those banks were, they stole all that money from people and they got a slap. Like, I think what they should have done, now that I understand blockchain, is they should have forced them all of this
onto a blockchain.
The only way to allow you to continue to work is everything has to go to a blockchain. And the reason being is because every little tweak and change, or, every sale and every movement of money is in a ledger that's public. And that's insane. And it sounds like it would be susceptible to like fraud or, people that shouldn't have their hands on it, but that's not the case.
It's the opposite,
The records are immutable. No participant can change or tamper with a transaction after it's been recorded to the shared ledger. If a transaction record includes an error, a new transaction must be added to reverse the error, and both transactions are then visible. So every little change in the transaction is seen. And then the mining and the computers involved in all of this are verifying like daily on all of these transactions to make sure the blocks match up and the record can be seen.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've all heard about the mining. And so basically that comes into the blockchain. We'll talk about that. That's the only reason the blockchain works is because of the mining. Right. I mean,
and the
it's
mining
all the
is
same
securing the whole system, which is weird because I always thought the mining was like pirates harvesting off from
but it's
the
not.
Bitcoin, but no, they're processing all.
They're processing the
verifying
transactions.
all of the transactions that the previous block and the future transaction all matches up, and then they get a little bit of a fraction of that for doing that.
Yep.
And then the other portion is smart contracts to speed up transactions. A set of rules called smart contract is stored on the blockchain and executed automatically. So you can see how the flow of this, and it's instantaneous. Like, I want to send Kobe $3,000. I don't have a limit. I can just send him, say I do have that much in Bitcoin. I can send it to him directly. And the transaction's all done by all these connected computer systems that are called nodes that process the transaction and verify everything for you. And nobody other than the miners get a little bit off from that, but it's all, it's just a better system. So I know that's confusing about the blockchain, but really it's much more safe. It functions on its own. It's like the middleman's processing it, but without taking anything. And then all of those details and all the records of the ledger are visible to everybody. So nobody can cheat and steal and corrupt the system because it can be seen. And if the computers pick up on that, it breaks and it won't go through. So anyways, that's kind of how that blockchain works. So now that let's say you want to buy, now that you understand how the blockchain works, not from me, you probably need to go online and figure that out. You got this secure method of now buying. How do you go and buy some Bitcoin? So there's a couple of ways to own it. like we said, you can't just buy a portion. They're going to send you a card with a piece of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, here's your Bitcoin. Yeah.
It's all digital. And some people freak out about that. But if you think all of our cash has many more people with their hands on it, and it's all digital.
It's all
just
digital
a number.
as well. Yeah. I mean, you can go to the bank and get so much,
Yeah.
but again,
And we've seen over and over these huge banks.
Yeah.
Freaking somebody that's in the system will pull out little bits at a time and
Yep.
freaking steal from you, and they can cover up the records, whereas a blockchain won't allow that. So you need to get a crypto wallet. It is a place where you can securely keep your crypto. There are many different types of crypto wallets. So there's the online exchanges hosted wallets, and that's Kobe and I probably use that the most lately, just kind of figuring it out.
Yep.
Coinbase is one. There's eToro. But typically they store your coins on wallets on their servers, and it's probably the smoothest way to kind of deal with it because it's all like a really nice app and interface, but when you do buy and transfer, they take a little portion because of it's just how the program works. There's also this is also online, is the non-custodial wallet, like Coinbase wallet. So there's Coinbase and there's Coinbase wallet.
Yeah, see, I have both. I used.
I
did
set
this,
mine up, but
I used Coinbase to purchase, and then I
Right.
transferred it to my Coinbase wallet.
is that what you did?
Yeah. So I'm keeping it all in a Coinbase wallet right now. And again, I'm just trying it out. Like if I'm actually going to do this for real at some point, I'd probably get the other kind that we'll talk about later.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
And the thing is, that coin or the Bitcoin that you purchase, no matter what these little platforms, that Bitcoin is still there.
Yes.
Because it's on the blockchain. It doesn't matter which, like if you go and use eToro, your Bitcoin's still in there. Like it pulls up just like a bank account or, how your money would online. So the non-custodial wallet like Coin Wallet or Coinbase Wallet or MetaMask puts you in complete control of your crypto. There's no third party there with this one. It keeps your crypto safe, and there's no. It provides the software necessary to store it and see it, but it takes out that middleman when you're processing and doing transactions. But this also, with these wallets, they give you a private key.
Yeah.
And a private, so the password is important here. If you lose this, then you lose your crypto.
So like you have just a regular password to get into your wallet, right? Like you would on any
like
app.
a PIN or yeah.
Yeah. But if you lose that password, if you don't know it, there's a key, a crypto key, like, and it's how many? What does it look like? There's so many words and so many
64
numbers.
Yeah.
Right?
It's yeah. So,
And if you lose that, it's
like
done.
it's toast. So
You don't have it anymore.
if you already have a hard time with passwords, you
Be
really
careful.
got to set up a system to remember and
Yes.
and keep that safe, because that's the only access you have to your
Seed
wallet.
phrase, that's what they called it, right?
Yeah, seed phrase. And there's no way to access your crypto if you lose it, like you said. So, so why would you want the non-custodial wallet? In addition to being in full control of the security of your crypto, you can also access more advanced crypto activities like yield farming, staking, lending, borrowing. And that's the crazy thing with Bitcoin is, and I'll talk about that in how you can actually use it. So the non-custodial wallet, when you don't use like
Just the actual purchasing
just
app.
the regular
Yeah.
app, you can use it in many more ways for you. The downside is that if the exchange is taken down, turns out that it turns out to not be a reputable one, then you could lose your coins. So you need to really do your research on who you're going to make your purchases through and what wallets. Now, the alternative way, and probably the safer way, but a little bit more time invested and probably a little more expensive at the start, is an offline wallet or a hardware wallet. What they can do is you're basically storing your Bitcoin information on a portable hard drive. So you have a tangible, access to your Bitcoin. You can download some free software to kind of help you do this, but you're looking at to have there's companies that build these little hard wallets, and they're not very cheap.
No, they're not cheap because it's scary. Because if you have a lot of crypto, that one little hard drive is everything.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's why it scares me slightly to do that.
it does.
But
There is some benefit to that.
Yes.
Is because everything's digital, everything's online, everything uses power, and if some of the scenarios we talked about, like an EMP,
And
and
it
you
gets
wipe
fried.
out. It could wipe this out too if you don't have it in something like, as far as we know,
Yeah.
in a silent pocket. But it gives you still access to it when power's out or whatever, so you
Yep.
still have something to carry around with you.
For sure.
So, in reality, for a prepper, this is something you would probably want to eventually look into.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does this all work, and how can it be used? So, the Bitcoin, say you went and purchased, which is awesome. You've got some Bitcoin now. How can you even use it? So, there's a couple of ways. There's a couple of options. One, you can use it directly to just pay for goods and services. There's a lot of companies that are jumping on board with this. So, just like you go into Venmo or whatever, and you just use your cash.
Yeah.
You can just directly pay them with Bitcoin because they accept it, because it's a currency that they all are starting to pick up on that's safer, actually, than using PayPal and Venmo.
Yeah, for sure it is.
The other thing is you can trade it. You can trade and convert it to other. You can trade directly over to fiat currency, to U.S. dollars, or you can. What you did an exchange, right?
Yeah, you can actually convert one crypto to another crypto for a small
say
fee.
you see one growing better, you
Yep.
can just kind of move it over. So, or you can just sit on it and hold on to it like you would any other, buying shares in Apple. You just sit and let it grow, which is what it's doing right now, big time.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and the other thing, like we were saying with that, that other type of wallet is that you can borrow against it, which is so weird.
Yeah.
You have this, invested asset. You can borrow against it. You can even lend people the money, and you can gain and earn interest on this Bitcoin. So
yeah, and Coinbase
it has so
wallet
much
makes
more.
that easy.
Yeah,
I've actually done it in Coinbase.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're already earning some, huh? For the
Yep.
So yeah, so there's advantages to having it. One, you can use it just like cash, just like your credit card, or you can just sit on it, or you can lend it. So
Yeah.
tons of ways to use it, and it's pretty easy to do so. Just a few of the places that support it. Which
Yeah,
is
and
kinda crazy.
it's not like you can go to Walmart and use your Bitcoin right
No,
now. It's
not
gonna
yet.
take time for that, right?
And it may never with some of those places.
Yeah,
but
you may not, but there are places where you can use it if you decide that's how I want to do some of
Yeah.
my transactions.
some of the ones. So it was crazy. It was like, let's see, I'll pull it up here. There was just a huge company that just invested a ton into it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wikipedia, Microsoft, AT&T all accept it as a payment. Burger King,
Do they
KFC,
really? Oh my gosh.
Overstock, Subway, Twitch, Pizza Hut, Norwegian Air, Cheap Air. There's a lot of like those big travel companies that are accepting it to
Newegg?
rent cars and everything like that. But yeah, Amazon is they haven't moved to that yet, but I would imagine they will.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just like any other, day of just using your credit card that's stored online, you can use your Bitcoin now
For sure. Yeah.
and it's super valuable. So, and then just real quick on the mining, like Kobe said, there are a total of 20 million Bitcoin that'll eventually be all completely mined, and that'll take until what was it,
21 million, and I think they said 2120 is when the last, or 2121, right around there,
Right.
is when the
So
last
there's
one
an
will be
unlimited
mined.
amount. There are 2,420,962 or so Bitcoins left to be mined. So
Yeah.
how does mining work? To mine cryptocurrency, a computer loaded with special software essentially has to solve a series of math problems or ciphers. This is the transactions to verify the data of the purchaser and the trader and all that stuff. So they're doing the work of the middleman, and they're getting new Bitcoin. So they're not taking Bitcoin from you.
Yeah.
That's what's pretty cool about the whole system.
That's basically what's happening. There's that many left, and so every time a block of data is done, that they pay out Bitcoin for that.
Yeah.
There's like 6.25 that gets paid out, and that's why there's like, why would anybody want to
And
put
that
their
payout,
server
how long is it how many years it drops?
every 10 years or something? It
That
halves.
reduces the amount. Yeah.
So
So that
I think
that's
every-
to keep the the risk of him.
Yeah. So it used to be like whatever, last time it was like 2016 or something, or it was maybe it's every 4 years. It was, they were paying out 12 Bitcoin per block, and now it's 6 Bitcoin per block, and then in a while it's going to be 3. So every time that goes down. But the cool thing is the only reason that the blockchain works, like, because it has to be on servers all the way around the world, right, all over the place. But why would somebody do it? It's
Right.
because they get paid in Bitcoin to do it,
Right.
right?
And they're creating the new Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so
Which is how
they're
they get paid.
harvesting this coin by keeping yours safe and keeping your transactions safe. So that huge, massive network is just burning through energy, but
Yeah.
is creating more Bitcoin and securing all of your transactions.
For sure.
And that's how you eliminate like the banks and all those middlemen.
Mm-hmm.
So can you mine and gain Bitcoin yourself? Yes, but it's a ton of work in terms of like it's power hungry. You have to have a massive computer, and like in all honesty, I would leave that to other
Yeah, like you have to have a server farm to make it work.
You do, and I think China has the majority of that going
Do they?
right now.
Yeah.
But it's super expensive. That's why you saw I don't know if you like graphics cards and processors. They took they were like massively expensive back when it kind of boomed in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's probably not something that you'll do, but just know that it's happening and it's for a good reason. They're not mining off from you. They're creating new coin and they're doing all the processing to keep all of your stuff safe. Do you
Makes
want to
total
go
sense.
into yours? I feel like I'm talking.
Let's go to Surfshark. Let's talk about that. You skipped it, so let's go.
Oh, I did, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, when we were talking about cryptocurrency and all the online stuff, this is super important.
Yeah.
Is Surfshark. It enables you to access. Whoops. Did you cut all that off?
I didn't cut anything off.
Access streaming content. Yeah, there's missing half of it.
Interesting.
So anyway, Surfshark is a VPN that protects you and your computer's IP online. So basically, you go completely gray man online. When you are out there searching for your perfect Bitcoin, this is the best time to be using something like this because there's a lot of probably made up false. We know that there's a lot of bogus sites that are, if you go on there, you're going to be cloaked, and so you're going to be safe. The other thing that's awesome about Surfshark is it enables you to access outside of the country different streaming networks. Basically, it's putting your IP as if you're in the UK, so you can watch the beautiful Netflix of UK.
That's right.
Library. Go now, right now.
Do it.
84% off. You get 4 extra months for free. It's just less than $60 with our promo code.
Yeah.
That's $2.13 a month. You will not find
So cheap.
any that works as good as this. The best thing about them too is that it works on every device that connects to the internet. You don't have a limit. You don't have 5 computers you can use, no matter what. And you get access, 24-hour support. You get full unlimited access, fast unlimited access. It'll pick the fastest server for you, and you can give it a try for 30 days.
For sure.
Why would you not do this?
You'd be dumb if you didn't.
Ridden.
Because
yeah, $60 for over 2 years of protection.
Yeah.
It's like the best investment you can make.
It really is. Get it. Surfshark.
Yeah, did you notice it's cut the whole top off from it?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what
But
happened.
anyways,
It's
you got
the
the gist
dang
of it.
Bitcoins. So
Yeah, you should go into this because I feel like I've been talking.
on the risks, you want me to go there? So
No,
there-
go into the benefit.
Okay.
Well, the risks are real
let's
quick.
talk
You want
about
me
the.
to do
I can probably do it.
that? Yeah, do it, please.
So the reason that we talk about all this is because obviously we're preppers. We're a prepping
You need
podcast.
to break down the other.
Why would this have any relevance for preppers? And some of this probably doesn't make sense. So let's look at what maybe the risks or the downsides are.
The whole
for
20 minutes
crypto.
that I just went into it.
Yeah,
It makes
so
no sense.
one of the biggest things is obviously if you need to use these Bitcoins or whatever, you're trying to do, and there's a loss of power, this becomes very, very hard to do. Because everything is digital and everything is on the network, so you can't just pull out your wallet, your physical wallet, pay for a thing of water with Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. You have to have some sort of internet access or power to make it work. So that is a big downside to this. Another downside is that it's super volatile. It's not like Bitcoin is going to stay at 24,000 per Bitcoin for a long time and slowly creep up. What happens with Bitcoin is it spikes and it valleys a lot, up and down, up and down. I mean, there was
It's a huge risk investment.
It's a huge risk investment.
But those are always the ones that could pay
huge
out.
rewards. Yeah. If you would have got in, when it crashed, it went way up, I think in 2017 to like 17,000, and then it crashed like all the way back down, like way down. If you would have invested then, you would have been.
Well, who would have expected
Oh my
during
gosh.
like a middle of a pandemic
I
that
know.
we're not done with to invest in Bitcoin?
It makes sense when you think about it.
It does, but
to be honest.
who would have spent time on there worried about everything else?
Exactly. So you have to be, like you put here. But for example, Bitcoin during the pandemic went down to 5,000. It was really at 5,000
In
oh my
March.
gosh.
Can you believe that?
And now it's at 24,000. So that's a 231.5% return.
Yeah, Coinbase
Good
shows
gracious.
it's kind of cool. You can follow the graph.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's not as easy to follow as like normal because
No.
I do some stock trading and you can kind of follow that, and it's a lot more. It's way easier to kind of feel comfortable about. Well, I'll put in here, and this one's like,
yeah, it's insane. So putting in right now, maybe it's not a great idea, but maybe it could be because there's a lot of people say that Bitcoin could go up to $1 million a coin. You just don't know. So it's very volatile. The other thing is that it is unregulated. There's no government, and that's a good and a bad thing, but it is what it is. The next thing is hacking. Blockchain helps protect from this, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. And the other thing is if you lose your pass key, you're done. There's some people that have lost millions of dollars because the pass key's gone, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. If you lose it,
how horrible
it's
if
gone.
you had invested
There's two or three.
thousands.
There's 2 or 3 people that have lost millions in Bitcoin because they couldn't find the pass key. They lost it. So that's a bad thing.
Which showed you how secure it is.
Exactly.
Sadly.
So those are some of the risks and some of the maybe downsides with a crypto for a prepper. But there are some benefits when you look at it. And the first one that I like is that it's diversification. It's a really great way to diversify your overall portfolio. A lot of preppers, maybe they don't have a portfolio. There's just 5.56 ammo and water, right? But a lot of us normal people want to invest. We don't think, we hope that, the grid's not going down and we're all done. This is a great way to diversify your portfolio. It's really similar. They actually call it kind of like a digital gold because it's really similar to that. There's only much.
It looks like it acts a lot like it.
There's only so much digital.
You can sit on it to gain. And
there's only so much gold in the world. There's only so much Bitcoin. There's only so much of these. And so it's kind of a similar thing. And plus, they're showing now that it's sort of outside of the regular financial system. When the financial system is going down, a lot of times Bitcoin's going up. So it's just a really good hedge. There are also plenty of disasters where there's still going to be electricity and there's still going to be internet, right? A lot of times preppers say, well, if the internet's gone or the electricity's gone, it's no good. Right. But how often does that happen? Most of the time, you're still going to have those things. Or a lot of the time, you're still going to have those things. And it might be good to have a crypto like this when that's kind of outside of your local or state-controlled fiat currency because maybe inflation all of a sudden just skyrockets with the US dollar and you've got a bunch of stuff in Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up and everything else is going down.
And historically, that's happened. So
yes. But again,
this could give you a little bit of a...
Please listen to this. Do not invest in crypto unless you have like everything else in order.
You've got to our finance episode. You need to have make sure your emergency fund is squared away way before this.
We are not saying at all just to go start putting thousands of dollars in crypto because we said it was a cool thing. Don't do that. It's just not a good idea.
But like you said, I don't think you can look at gold and silver and then skip crypto.
No, I don't think so either.
They go together.
So obviously, gold and silver have benefits.
A new form of gold.
They have benefits over crypto, is because you can hold gold in your hand, and here it is, right? And the power goes out, and you still have gold. Good luck paying for broccoli with gold, right? A gold bar. We've talked about that before, right?
I planned on that.
The nice thing about Bitcoin is that you can take it down, like it can be broken down into like
and that's what you're buying. Because if you're buying a coin, it's $24,000.
Yeah, it can be. It's like 100,000ths of. I mean, it
nice
breaks
just
way down. So that's the good thing.
Until it drops.
The other thing is privacy. Under cash credit systems, your entire transaction history may become a reference document for the bank or the credit agency or all those things. So they have all this information, and it's directly tied to you, your address, and all those types of things, right? Another one of the great advantages of crypto is that each transaction you make is a unique exchange between two parties. This is what Cam was talking about, the terms of which may be negotiated and agreed in each case. The exchange of information is done on a push basis. So basically, I can say, I want to send him $20, in Bitcoin, and I just do it. There doesn't have to be an intermediary person that takes that money and then gives it to Cam. It's there. It goes right to his wallet. So that's a great thing.
And I think everybody's probably familiar with using PayPal and Venmo and Google Pay. It's no different. It's just that you're using a different currency.
Yeah.
It's smoother.
Yep. And everything can be anonymous if you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like it can be completely anonymous.
Anonymous sent you $200.
Ooh. The other thing is security. Obviously, there's a much higher level of security with cryptocurrency. I mean, that's what it's called. It's cryptocurrency, right? Your funds aren't turned over to Bank of America. You have your funds completely offline in your hand on a hard drive if you want. That's it.
Just so
Nobody else gets it.
The
right?
thought of it's so much better.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we live in a very corrupt world.
You think? Yeah. And then another thing is once a transaction is authorized and it goes through, there's no way to charge it back. Like that's it. You'd have to do a complete new transaction to get it back.
Yeah.
Like with a credit card, they can do chargebacks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That can't be done with crypto.
Right.
So that's
it
another
messes
thing.
the block.
Yep. And then all of the blockchain and the encryption techniques that are used is just a huge safeguard against fraud. There's no way to do identity theft with it. It's impossible.
No.
If nobody has
you
your
don't
key,
really have any identity tied to it.
Exactly. That's the cool thing. Again, it's tech is distributed across millions of highly encrypted computers around the world. It's not on Bank of America's server in
I love that
Missouri
idea.
or whatever.
It sounds like your stuff would be so susceptible to all the people that have access, but it's all triple, double, over and over. Every transaction, it can see your transaction way back in time that keeps that blockchain going.
And think about this. So maybe we have a partial or total system collapse at some point, right? There's no power. There's a lot of things that go on. Or maybe there's a cyber breach and a bunch of computers are taken and they don't work anymore. Maybe those that could go down are your bank. And maybe now your bank transactions are gone. There's no way to get them back because they were on a server or maybe a couple, right?
In that bank.
But if you had crypto, it's on blockchain. So if any one of those blockchain computers comes back up anywhere in the world, it's back. There it is, right?
And it hasn't been changed. It can't be changed or it breaks the whole chain.
Exactly. So, therefore, really,
it's a system that all systems should function on, really.
So there's just it's really hard to get rid of all that information. Yeah. If the power comes back on at some point, a computer somewhere is probably going to have it. So that's the nice thing. It's decentralized. There's no government or one company that actually controls it because it's on the blockchain, right? And a lot of these different currencies, once you're an owner, or once you own that currency, you kind of become an owner and you can actually vote on what to do with that currency and like how they operate and those types of things. So that's kind of interesting. Regular inflation from your government printing money doesn't apply to crypto. Right? It just doesn't. A lot of people call it the people's money because you don't actually have to have a government to use it.
That's nice.
With us, the U.S. dollar, it's all dependent on the United States of America, right?
We just keep printing on top of our trillions of debt.
So we take them out of the equation with cryptocurrency. Yeah. It's just, it doesn't matter. Except there are actually some countries that are looking into crypto to use it. There's I think Canada started a cryptocurrency. There's a bunch of, I think Ukraine and a couple of Russian countries are looking at it. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but Venezuela has their own crypto. Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting piece of it too. There's lower fees. With the banks, in loans and in transactions, there's fees all over the place. That's the only way that they make money, right?
Right.
It's one of
They've
the ways.
got a nice app.
Yeah, exactly. But
somebody's got to be paid.
Then you put your money in the bank, a regular bank, and then they send that money to somebody else, and then they're making money off of your money. And that's just how it works, right? So there's a lot of lower fees. So that's a nice thing. Also, you can send it, like Cam said, across borders of countries with no problem at all, ever.
Have you ever tried to wire money?
It's not
a
an easy
freaking
deal.
nightmare, and it's costly.
It is.
It's a joke.
Yeah, but with crypto, there's no
limit.
You might have a small cost with your wallet or if you're going through Coinbase or
Right.
something, but
Yeah.
it's so minimal.
But really,
comparative.
If you worked it right,
Yeah.
you could transfer $1 million
with nothing.
and spend anything.
Yeah.
Like that's the only
And
system that would allow
there
that.
would be like no exchange rates
I
between
don't have $1 million.
There would be no exchange rates between currencies. So
Yeah.
if you're sending it to somebody in
Right.
Europe,
That's the nice. No.
yeah, there's no
You're not
exchange rates.
converting it down to.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. Another thing is crypto could not probably. It's possible that it could be the future of currency. Like at some point, this could be it.
Yeah.
This could be what we use.
I never would have thought that until
Mm-hmm.
I started looking into it and realizing how much more secure and how
Yeah.
more protected. The fact that like people don't have their little hands on it and can
For
tweak
sure.
and alter it. That's where I'm like, geez.
Yeah. So according to Deutsche Bank, the current money system is fragile. Deutsche Bank, now I can't say it, sees that by 2030, digital currencies will rise to over 200 million users. In the Imagine 2030 report, Deutsche Bank suggests that digital currency could eventually replace cash one day as demand for anonymity and a more decentralized means of payment grows. So it's very possible.
Right.
And investing now gets you ahead of the curve, so you're not getting in at the point where Bitcoin or whatever it is is at $1 million a coin.
Right.
Right. You got in when at least it was like 24,000 a coin, and maybe it's going to go back down. And
Maybe it's
going
going
to
to be 300 eventually.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay.
But yeah, that's why I honestly feel like you can't ignore it.
No.
As a person of of prepping and all
Yeah.
that, you can't like overlook what could possibly be. I mean, we talk about all the susceptibilities of the world and
Yep.
wars, but this is probably more secure than our cash.
Oh, it definitely. Yeah,
But
for
it
sure.
swings a ton. That's
It
the
does.
only. That's the
well,
scary.
and then with cash, you can have physical cash in your pocket.
Right, and
That's where it gets. It's hard.
until it becomes pointless and you burn it.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a lot of emergency scenarios actually where crypto could be a huge advantage. For example, after the 2017 hurricane that decimated Puerto Rico, demand for cash became extraordinarily high because banks and ATMs were either destroyed or empty, right?
Yeah.
The ATM gets empty quick. Everybody goes and takes out their cash right away. But some people still had access to their phones. You might not be able to buy goods through an instant transfer of Bitcoin instead. So you could just say, hey, I'll transfer you some Bitcoin. I need the water. And so you could
There's
do that.
even Bitcoin ATMs.
Is there really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
They
that.
started creating. There's
Interesting.
a company in Texas that started making it.
Oh, nice.
I was like, well, that's crazy.
Yeah. And do you remember Gotena? The whole mesh network thing?
This was
So
a surprise to me.
they've set up a system whereby when the internet is out, you can still send crypto transactions through, and it'll store it on their mesh network until that comes back up. So basically, you could actually do it when the internet's down. I don't want to get into it's so hard to go through all the whole spiel that they've got, but they have a way of actually sending through those transactions on the like for Bitcoin or something when there's no grid, when everything is down.
I know,
as long as
that's-
there's a mesh network.
And it makes sense because it's just digital.
Yeah.
And a number that, like we've talked about, I mean, your phone could act essentially as that hard wallet.
Yeah. And and think about it. We always talk about these SHTF events, What is more likely? Is it more likely that we're going to have a complete grid down, no internet, no power, or is it going to be like a nationwide or even a worldwide economic, downturn, like a huge downturn,
Yeah.
or because in a scenario like that, which is going to be more likely, crypto would be a great asset to have.
Yeah.
It really would. And so that's the most likely. So you just have to think about it. I'm not, and I know I kind of sound like I'm advocating for crypto. I'm just saying it's an option, and you need to weigh.
Yeah.
Weigh
Well,
it for
Colby and I
yourself.
both started looking into it, and we're like, honestly, it's something that needs to be.
We just want to talk about
to
it.
be because it's part of prepping.
Yeah.
You got to look into your investments because if cash goes kaput,
Yep.
then you have to have something.
Exactly.
And not all of us have gold, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just. I mean, I do look at it as gold.
It kind of is. So I talked about Venezuela. We all know what's been going down there. Like it's a bad place to be. Their economy is completely, basically collapsed. But many in Venezuela, and actually including the government, are using cryptocurrencies because their fiat currency is useless. Right? It's just you can't even use it. this has been great for a lot of Venezuelans because the cryptos aren't affected by the country's stupidity. So a lot of them, they took what they had and they got into some sort of crypto, and it's, not perfectly stable, but it's more stable than what they've got going on down there, right?
Those countries swing all the time. Like
Yeah.
When I was in Brazil, the exchange or the conversion was like $1 for 4 of theirs.
Yeah.
So I was like, $20. I'm like, I'll buy everybody pizza.
No kidding, man. And so, it's a hedge against a stupid country. And what is our national debt? 27 trillion.
Yeah.
So,
And we just keep printing. And pretty soon we're going to have to start borrowing against.
Yep.
We're going to start taking what's not ours from those countries that we already owe a ton to.
It makes no sense. So here's the bottom line for me. If you think you have your basic financial house in order, all your other stuff, you're feeling pretty good about prepping wise. I think that crypto is worth a look.
I totally agree.
That's
what I would say.
Yeah, it's a great addition to your preps, and it's a great addition, I think, to a personal portfolio. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it could be great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying now's the time to get in because we're at a peak that it's never been at before, but a lot of people are saying it's going to go way, 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 way higher. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Worst episode you guys have ever done.
Exactly. So, we will probably put like our Coinbase link in the podcast description if you guys want to try it out.
Yeah.
And see what it's like. Coinbase was super easy to use. We
It's
liked
really
it.
easy. I like it.
And it's probably the most popular app or platform to buy crypto on. Also, they're looking to do a public IPO here in the next little bit. So that just kind of means that they're pretty legit.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a big deal.
You
So
can buy Bitcoin with PayPal now.
Yeah,
of course.
I saw that.
You can make
yeah.
a little money off from it.
Yeah, and I saw you can also, a lot of people might use Robinhood
Robinhood.
app for buying, but just beware that some of those apps don't actually allow you to transfer to your wallet.
PayPal won't either.
PayPal won't either. Yeah,
You can use the Bitcoin to trade and buy, but you can't use it to buy with.
Yes, so you
Yet.
got to be careful.
But they probably won't.
So look at that before you make.
They're
a
trying to
decision.
figure out their fee. That's probably what they're doing.
Yeah, that's 100% what they're doing. So you just got to make sure that you know what's going on there. So that's crypto for preppers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hopefully you figured something out there, and hopefully that made sense.
I doubt it. My part, I would go look up blockchain. It's super hard to explain.
It really is. It's hard to explain.
But just know that the cryptocurrency is super secure.
It's secure.
It's more of the volatile thing's the only thing that scares me.
It is,
about it. But other than that, I don't worry about my information being
No,
stolen,
absolutely
because that
not.
can't happen.
Guys, today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use our code Casual Preppers and get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's TacPack. Head to TacPack.com. Use our code Casual Preppers. We don't have any reviews
right?
today, do we?
No.
It's time for the quick and
I'm going to
dirty
review
medical
this
tip.
podcast.
Yeah. Good.
1 star.
1 star.
Excellent information. 3.5 stars.
It's awesome.
So I posted recently about, and I've talked about this before, just having some medical preps for your asthmatics, for your COPDers.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most common things that I see, just in family practice or in the urgent care is lung conditions. You get sick, if you already have reactive airways, it's just that much worse. So how do you prepare? Because there's your handhelds that are a fortune,
Yeah.
Just a regular albuterol inhaler with insurance is like $45 to $50.
They're not cheap,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous. And the medication is probably a little cheaper for the nebulized solution. So if you have that, and if you run into a problem with, I don't have any inhalers, I have the solution, power's out, or you're off the grid, you're trying to figure out how to run a nebulizer. There are ways that you can kind of work around the medical devices. So I showed in my video that you can use just a regular tire compressor and just put it on the tubing, and then you just use it just like you would any other nebulizer machine, which is pretty cool because mine's powered off from the DeWalt 9-volt, 12-volt batteries.
Yeah.
So you can run your nebulizer and you can administer the medication with those. Harbor Freight has a compressor that's like I think it's like $12 that plugs into your cigarette lighter.
Oh yeah,
So have a car battery, you have power. There's another way.
you're good to go. Yeah.
You can run your nebulizer off from that. And there's a whole bunch of different things you can put into the nebulizer. I'm sure if you have lung problems, then you know those medications.
Mm-hmm.
But the means of, dispensing the medication
Yeah.
can be tricky if you're, SOL and you don't have any power. The last thing is you can use just a bike pump.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody would be really going to town.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you have asthma, you're not going to be doing it on yourself. But you can, and I haven't done this myself. My bike pump broke, but I've seen videos where you can actually tie the tubing on, secure it on there so there's no air leakage, and you can pump and pump, and it'll turn the medicine into aerosol form or nebulize it. So you can use those off the grid ways of dispensing your medicine. So
Nice.
anyway,
I like that.
kind of a cool trick.
Yeah, go check out the video. I think it's on TikTok. We'll probably put it on
You
Instagram
can
as well.
humidify air if that's all you want.
Yeah, you could actually.
So
yeah,
yeah,
it looked like it was really coming out of there.
it came out just as good as a nebulizer.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was cool. Yeah,
I had to crank it up to like 50 psi.
it's loud, but
It's super loud.
super loud.
But anyways, it's
Yeah.
just kind of an alternative way. Improvise.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, thanks. That's it. I'm sure there's going to be 8 million questions on crypto. Don't send them to us because we don't know.
Yeah.
No, we would love to talk about it more
Yeah.
on Instagram.
I'm still
TikTok.
learning about it, and it really is super interesting, and
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy our system hasn't adopted it more.
Yeah, I think it's even if you don't.
Like I said, the
invest-
blockchain portion
Yeah.
is moving into healthcare. It's moving because it is way more secure than the crap that we
It
use
is.
now.
Yeah, everything on the government should be on blockchain.
And with the new what's the new Russian?
the hack.
No, the SVR.
Oh yeah,
They're getting into everything.
they are. Yeah,
So
yeah, it's so true. So go check it out, and maybe we'll try and do a video soon on like the basics of this.
like show our Bitcoin.
Yeah, here's my Bitcoin. I keep it in this pocket.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Collect your
I know. Every
Bitcoin.
time I think about it, I just feel like it's Mario or something. Like we're.
It does.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we're doing.
I know.
It's so weird.
It seems imaginary, and I think some of the jokes between me and you have been like,
Yeah.
you gonna buy something at your guild?
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna send me some coin
It
from
feels
your
so weird.
enchanted sword?
Yeah.
It sounds really weird, but it's a genius system.
Yeah, and it's not just Bitcoin. Remember, there's Ethereum, there's Litecoin, there's a whole bunch of different ones to
Yeah.
look at that might be actually better to invest in right now,
Right.
just because they're not
They're not
insanely
nearly as,
priced.
yeah,
you
and
know
everybody
what I mean?
does look at Bitcoin. So.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe and stay survived.